no soy, watashi wa nanu. I am Chris, and this is Chris in English. And today I've already been busy. Yeah, today I renewed my driver's license. I didn't even have to go to the DMV because we live in a marvelous new world where we can get our business done online. That's great. Yeah, this is the first time I've ever gotten to renew my driver's license using the internet. Usually you have to go all the way to the DMV, a government office. And that means standing in line for a long time. In fact, it's famous. Even if you make an appointment with the DMV, you're still going to be there for at least an hour. So this was great. I woke up this morning, I did some work, I made my coffee, I sat down at my computer, and I renewed my driver's license. That means I get to drive for 4 more years. How about you guys? I hope you're all doing well. I hope you're safe and healthy and well. And I'm very curious about what you guys have been doing. I'll tell you what we're going to be doing today in our show. Of course, I'm going to teach you a word of the day. We got a word of the day. In fact, we've got a word of the day that I hope does not intimidate you too much. Is that a hint? Is that a clue? Could that give you some information about what our word of the day today is? Intimidation? We'll find out. We will find out. But here's our question of the day. What is the most interesting thing you've ever received in the mail? Mr. Marty, good to see you, sir. I hope you're doing well. I'm doing well. I renewed my driver's license on the internet today. I get to drive for 4 more years. And I didn't have to go to the DMV. That's a double win in my book. Mr. Nemo, good to see you, sir. Happy Tuesday. I hope your life will be full of tacos today. I think mine might be. We'll have to find out when dinner time gets closer. What is the most interesting thing you have ever received in the mail? That's our question today. That's our question of the day. We've got lots of things going on in the United States with the post office. The post office is running out of money. The post office needs money. The President of the United States does not want to give more money to the post office, and there's reasons for that we'll talk about later. In fact, we got lots of things to talk about with the post office today. That's going to be our special topic. I will give you the coronavirus update here in San Diego, and we'll get to talk, because I like talking with you guys. So let's do that. Nemo, Mr. Marty, how are you guys doing? Are you safe? Are you healthy? Are your countries and cities recovering from the stupid coronavirus? I got good news for San Diego. San Diego, it looks like San Diego County is going to be off of the watch list in about a week. That's great. That means that things will start to open back up. What will that look like? Not really sure. Not perfectly sure yet, but we're hoping that we're going to get to start opening up in about a week or so. Obviously, we're not going to have buildings that are full of people. We'll probably have big limits on the number of people who can be in buildings. We'll definitely be requiring people to wear masks. We might even ask some people to wear gloves. I don't know what it's going to look like. But hopefully we'll be opening up in about a week. Mr. Nemo's telling me that he's fine. I am glad to hear that, sir. I'm glad to hear that you are still swimming. And I hope you're still with your dad and Dory, too. They're good people. They like you. San Diego might be coming off the list. Yesterday, we had in San Diego County 34,740 confirmed cases of coronavirus with 626 deaths. I think that means we only had 1 coronavirus death yesterday in San Diego County. Every death is a tragedy, but the numbers are coming down, and that is good for our community. What's Mr. Marty saying here? Netherlands might be going into a second lockdown soon. Sorry to hear that, man. I don't remember how your first lockdown went. In the United States, our first lockdown went poorly. And so many states had to go into a second lockdown. Technically, San Diego, California, we are in our second lockdown right now, technically. But hopefully we're turning the corner, and I hope that the Netherlands turns the corner too. I hope that things get better and you don't have to go into that second lockdown. I can tell you from experience, lockdowns suck. Let's see, California, 633,000 confirmed cases with 11,274 deaths. More deaths than yesterday, but the numbers are coming down. Each death is a tragedy. 5.4 million confirmed cases in the entire United States. It looks like that's about 37,000 more. 37,000 more than yesterday. 170,000 deaths. That's 400 more than yesterday. California seems to be doing okay. We seem to be turning a corner. The United States, however, we're still having problems. Hopefully things will be better soon in the whole world. And things are getting better already because we got a Winnie. Hello, my Winnie. I hope you're doing well. I hope you are healthy. I hope you are safe. Let's see, what's Mr. Marty saying? The first lockdown in the Netherlands went well. So people were optimistic, probably too optimistic. Yeah, that's a little bit about what's happening in the United States, too. We were doing really well for a while, and then we had a holiday. We had Memorial Day, which was May 25th. We were doing okay. Memorial Day came, the 25th of May. Everybody went to the beach. Everybody went to barbecues. Everybody went to picnics. And a lot of people came home sick. And, of course, spread the sickness to other people. Optimism. Yeah, Marty, optimism is a little bit dangerous sometimes. I, of course, hope that the Netherlands does not have to go into the second lockdown. I hope you can turn the corner before that has to happen. Nemo saying he doesn't think there will be a second full lockdown because they can't afford it. Lockdowns are expensive, it's true. In fact, we're in the United States, we're still trying to figure out whether or not we're going to pay for this current lockdown. We had a first stimulus bill that was passed. I want to say it was passed back in May or June. It provided a little money to every American to help them get by. It provided more unemployment money to Americans to help them get by. But those policies were not renewed when they ran out at the beginning of this month. And the government can't seem to cooperate enough to come up with a solution. So, yeah, it's expensive, but I would rather be alive than rich. If I'm alive, I can become rich. If I'm dead, I can't become anything except more dead. I don't think I can even become more dead. I can just be dead. The economy is down 10% since March. Marty, is that the Netherlands or is that Europe as a whole? I'm curious. You corrected yourself. The economy has shrunk. Here's the good news, Mr. Marty. Go down and shrink are good synonyms. You can say the economy has gone down. You can say the economy has shrunk. Has shrunk is probably a more technical term, but has gone down. Gone down is a phrasal verb. And we love phrasal verbs in English. But I am curious, is that 10% just the Netherlands? Or is it all of Europe? If it's not all of Europe, what is the number for all of Europe? I'd be curious to know that, too. And Winnie, of course, I'm curious to know, in Taiwan, how are you doing? I hope you're well. I hope the economy is staying strong and powerful, but I'm curious to know, do you know any of your numbers? That's my coronavirus report for here in San Diego County. San Diego, we're turning a corner. Hey, Winnie. Winnie's company's branch is in San Jose, here in California. And they're doing work from home through the virus. That's good. So, does that mean, Winnie, I'm assuming that you're telling me you are in San Jose. You are in San Jose, California right now. I think that's true. Hey, Sendri! Welcome to the show. I hope you're doing well. I hope you're safe and healthy. Also curious, how is your country doing with the virus right now? 10% down. The economy is 10% down in the Netherlands. The number through all of Europe isn't much different. Yeah, it's probably true. The economy in the United States is definitely down. Our gross national product is down probably about 7 to 10%. Unemployment, I think, right now is at about 17%. That's very high. 17% unemployment is unheard of in my lifetime. The closest I can get to that number is thinking back to my history class studying the Great Depression, where at some points unemployment was 25%, a quarter of the American working populace was out of work. So we're doing better than the Great Depression. I don't know exactly what that means, but we're doing better. And better's a good thing. Hey, everybody, let's do this. Here's something good. Let's do our word of the day. Yes, you've made it in time for the word of the day. And if you want to see the word of the day, you can visit the website, ChrisinEnglish.com, where you can see the word of the day every day. Oh, Winnie's telling me she's not in California. I can't make a secret trip to San Jose to visit her. She is in Taiwan, but her company is cooperating with the American branch. Good. Very good. And of course that means, Winnie, since you're working with the American branch, when you want to visit San Diego, you can visit the United States, you can transfer to the American branch, right? And then you can come and visit me, and we can eat tacos together. I think it's a good plan. Our word of the day. Interesting word. I see this word a bit. It's not an everyday word, but it's a good word to know, to have in your pocket. It's a verb. It's an irregular verb. That means it has an irregular simple past and an irregular past participle form. Our word of the day today is to browbeat. Huh? How's that for a verb? To browbeat. Browbeat. To intimidate someone through insulting language. To make someone do what you want through insults and bullying. To browbeat. Hey, here's your spelling. It's one word. B-R-O-W-B-E-A-T. Browbeat. It's a verb. The simple past, also browbeat. B-R-O-W-B-E-A-T. Browbeat. Browbeat. And the past participle, browbeaten. E-N at the end. B-R-O-W-B-E-A-T-E-N. Browbeaten. Let's give a sentence. Let's try a sentence. The losing soccer team was completely browbeaten by the taunts of the crowd. Oh yeah, the crowd, the audience, the spectators, they were being insulting. They were being bullying. And so, the losing soccer team felt browbeaten. They felt intimidated. That's our word of the day, browbeaten, a pretty good one. It's a verb. But now it's your turn. Do you have a sentence using our word of the day, browbeaten? A verb that means to intimidate through insulting language. If you have a sentence that you want to share, go ahead, write it. I'll read it right now. If you don't want to write it right now, you can send me an email, chris@ChrisinEnglish.com. Of course, I'm going to post this on Instagram and YouTube and Facebook, and you can leave comments there as well if you'd like. Got a problem with the United States Post Office right now. The Post Office doesn't have enough money. Doesn't have enough money. Mail is starting to come late. I have personally noticed that there have been a couple days every week that I have not been getting mail, and I just have been reading about why this has been happening, and it's because the Post Office doesn't seem to have enough money. This is not good news in general, but specifically because the American election is coming up. Our presidential election is in November 3rd, if you're interested. And because of the virus, a lot of people are going to choose to vote by mail. It is an option here in many states in the United States to vote by mail. You don't have to go to your polling place. You get your ballot in the mail, you fill it out, you put it back in the mail, boom, you voted. But what happens to that process if the post office isn't working properly? Hey, Marty's got a sentence for us. Here we go. I was browbeat by my friend after I made a joke about his sister. And, well, you should be browbeaten. Browbeaten. Take a look at your sentence there, Mr. Marty. You're using the be verb was before the verb browbeat. And that's a big clue for you. That's a clue that you're probably looking at a passive voice sentence, which requires the past participle. You were browbeaten. No one likes jokes about their sister. Marty, nobody likes a joke about their sister. You should try to make a joke about my sister and see what happens. I won't even have to do it. I'll just send a copy of this to my sister and she'll find you. Hey! Salaya, good to see you. I'm glad you joined the show. Let's see. Marty's got a sentence of the day for us. I'm waiting for the good time to go back to San Diego for sure. I can't wait to see all of you there in San Diego. Here's her sentence. The young boy is browbeaten by his classmates because they think he is weird. Okay. I can understand that. I've been browbeaten because people have thought I was weird. I don't understand. I don't think I'm weird. I just wear cartoon ties and watch Star Wars every day. Did I just browbeat myself? No, Mr. Marty. Mr. Marty. The only thing stupid is the way you spelled stupid. Now, we make mistakes in English all the time, and native speakers often make mistakes with passive voice. And the reason for that is we don't often use passive voice. Passive voice is something that we're actually taught, when we're taught grammar, we're taught not to use it, or at least not to use it by accident. That is the joke, and we use that joke all the time, actually, Marty. Spelling stupid in a stupid way. Hey, let's see. The mail. So, yeah, we got problems with the U.S. Postal Service, and it might affect the upcoming election. Here's the good news. The United States Congress has introduced some legislation to give $25 billion to the post office to help them shore up, to help them become stronger, and to help them make plans for the upcoming election. We're expecting 80 million people in the United States to be sending their ballots by mail. That's a good percentage of the voting populace. While I was reading this article, I started thinking a lot about mail, about mailing things, and I found some interesting stories about people who have mailed themselves. Can you imagine that, mailing yourself to another country? First of all, I want to tell you what I read, what I discovered. First and foremost is this is a very dangerous thing to do. You can die if you try to mail yourself. So, don't do it. But some of these stories are interesting. First of all, in 1913 and 1914, here in the United States, it was actually legal to mail children, to send children in the mail. Technically, you could mail any person who weighed less than 50 pounds. That tends to be children. I don't know why it was acceptable to mail children. I do know that those were warriors, but not in the United States. Hello, Mr. Package. For 2 years in the history of the United States, it was legal to mail children. But the first case of an adult actually mailing themselves here in the United States that I was able to find, the earliest case, happened in 1849. A man named Henry Box Brown. He lived in the state of Virginia, where he was a slave. Yes, in 1849, slavery was still legal in the United States and legal in the state of Virginia. And as you can imagine, Mr. Henry Box Brown did not want to be a slave. But he was smart. He was a pretty smart guy. He came up with a plan. He got a shipping box. He got a pretty big shipping box. And he put himself in the shipping box. And he mailed himself from Virginia to Pennsylvania, a state that did not allow slavery. It worked! He spent the rest of his life as a free man, thanks to the United States Postal Service. Of course, he's now called Henry Box Brown because of the box that he put himself in. That became his nickname for the rest of his life. His friends called him Box because he mailed himself. That's not the last time people tried to mail themselves, and not only Americans tried to do this. There was a man in England. His name is W. Reginald Bray. W. Reginald. Very, very British. Very British name. In 1900, he tried to mail himself from one city in England to another by regular mail. Just regular mail, Lick a stamp, put it on, try to get yourself mail. It did not work. It didn't work. They didn't mail him. Go figure. But he tried it again, and this time he was successful. In 1903, he mailed himself by registered mail. Someone had to sign to accept delivery. Why, Marty is telling me that I look a little bit like a Reginald. I'll take that as a compliment. I have a relative actually named Reginald. We call him Reggie. Reggie's a pretty typical name in the maybe a little old-fashioned. A lot of people born in the 70s probably have the name Reginald. It's not one you'll see very often these days. But Reginald, W. Reginald, he successfully mailed himself inside of England. Let's see. Reg Spires, also an Englishman. Oh, when he's saying something, I always want to hide in anyone's luggage who is going to travel to another country. Yeah, me too. I often invite my students to put me in their suitcase when they go back to their home country. No one has ever said yes. No one has ever said yes. Mostly because I don't think their suitcase is big enough. I mean, I'm not the biggest guy. But, suitcases, they're a little bit... Yeah. Reg Spires successfully mailed himself from Heathrow Airport in London to Perth in Western Australia. He was in England. He was trying out for the Australian javelin team for the Olympics. Javelin is the big spear. You throw it, see who can throw it the farthest. Very good. I can be Marty's support animal on the airplane. You have to have papers though. We need to get papers that prove I'm a support animal. They don't just let you on the plane with any sort of animal anymore. They used to, yeah. People would go on with lizards and snakes. I even heard tale of a peacock. Yeah, so we got to get the paperwork. But yeah, that would work. Mr. Spires, he was in England. He was trying out for the javelin team for the Olympics for his country, Australia. he didn't make the team. He didn't get on the team, which totally ruined his plans, because now he had to get back to Australia, but he had no money. He didn't have enough money to buy a ticket. So his friend built him a big box. And inside the box there were straps that he could hold on to. So if tilted, and he could hold on so he wasn't rattled around. And he had a little bit of water. He had a little bit of food. He had a bottle, an empty bottle, that he used to relieve himself. This is another reason why I don't have to fly first class, but I don't necessarily want to fly in a box. There were problems with Mr. Spears' trip. Yeah. There were delays in his flight. There was one point where his box was held for about 24 hours in Malaysia. This was, I believe, in the summer, so it was very hot. I'm sorry, it was Bombay, not Malaysia. It was Bombay. It was left on, the box was left on the runway in Bombay on a hot day. So, yeah, it was hot in his box. But he finally made it to Perth. He finally made it back to Australia. He was mailed in a box. It took him 63 hours to get mailed from England to Australia. Another reason why I don't want to really mail myself. Yeah. Here's a story about a man named Charles McKinley. At the age of 25, he shipped himself from New York City to Dallas, Texas. Why? He missed his parents. He missed his parents. He wanted to visit his parents. They caught him. The last part of the trip, they found him in the box. So he didn't quite make it to his destination. I don't know if he was arrested. I assume he was arrested because this is a crime. Getting on a plane without a ticket is a crime. It's called stowing away. And it is illegal. Marty's telling us that he made it to Perth, but he smelled like chocolate ice cream for 3 months. Chocolate ice cream. Why would he smell like chocolate ice cream, Marty? That is chocolate ice cream, right? Marty wrote an emoji. Looks a lot like chocolate ice cream. I don't understand why, but he did. Let's see. Here's one. They don't give his name, but they do say that he's from Germany. He was a 42-year-old man, and he was in jail, serving 7 years for a drug conviction. But he had access to the mail room in the prison. Yeah, chocolate ice cream. Marty just confirmed. The man mailed himself from England all the way to Australia, and for some reason, he smelled like chocolate ice cream. I don't want a spoon. The man in Germany, the prisoner, he was a prisoner in a German jail. He had access to the mailroom. He climbed into a box and he was picked up by the mailman and taken out of jail. I assume that he was caught. It does not say. Hey, Nemo's asking us a question. Nemo says, what is the best food you ever had in an airplane? Best food? The food I bought from the restaurant and took on the plane with me? Does that count? Can I do that? Can I go to Subway, buy a Subway sandwich, put it in my bag, and then when I'm hungry, I take out the Subway sandwich? I did that. I've done that a lot, actually, because really I don't like much airplane food. When I was younger, when I was your guys' age and flying everywhere, airplane food was free. It came with your flight. When you bought your ticket, you marked down what you wanted to eat, and then they'd bring it to you. These days, and it wasn't good food. It wasn't good food then, but it was free. Now they charge you for the food. They charge you money for a really bad sandwich and a couple of grapes. Maybe some crackers. I don't know. I don't know. I don't eat airplane food. I'll take my Subway sandwich any day. Hey, we got one more. One more man who mailed... And I just realized all of these stories are men. Apparently, go women. Women do not mail themselves, apparently. Nor should they. They should mail themselves. And here's the reason why. In August of 2012, right? 8 years ago, exactly, 8 years ago, a man from southern China decided to ship himself to his girlfriend. Aww. Aww. That's a good boyfriend, right? Maybe it was a birthday. Maybe it was an anniversary, right? He decided he was going to mail himself to his girlfriend as a prank. Prank almost killed him. Almost killed him. It didn't take very long for the courier to deliver the package. It only took 3 hours. Unfortunately, the man had a very strong box. He had a very strong box. And this box did not allow enough oxygen inside. Apparently, he tried to dig a hole through the box. But the wood was too thick. He couldn't dig a hole through the box. Hey, Ephraim! Oh my goodness! I am so happy to see you, sir! This is a blast from the past. Here is a drink of coffee to you. That's a good cup of coffee. I'm glad to see you. I hope you're well. I hope you're safe. I hope you're healthy. Hope you're active. Today we're talking about people who mailed themselves. People who sent themselves through the mail. And this is a story about a Chinese man who tried to mail himself to his girlfriend in a box that did not have enough oxygen. He could not breathe. When he arrived to his girlfriend's house in his box, she opened the box. Thank goodness she opened the box, because she found him and he was unconscious. He wasn't dead. Not yet. He would have been. But he was unconscious. She called the paramedics. She called an ambulance. The doctors came and they were able to revive him. Thank goodness. But don't mail yourself. Don't put yourself... You are not a letter. You are not a box. You are not a parcel. You are not cargo. You are a human being. Don't mail yourself. But our question of the day, what's the most interesting thing you've ever received in the mail? That's our question of the day. What's the most interesting thing you've ever received in the mail? I've been thinking about this all morning, and I guess it was when I was a kid. I would read comic books. I loved comic books as a kid. I still read comic books sometimes today. Not a lot, but sometimes I'll pick up a comic book and I'll read it just for fun. When I was a kid, I read comic books a lot. And in the comic books, they had these advertisements. You could buy these really cool things, like X-ray glasses that would let you see through walls, right? A buzzer on your hand. You shake someone's hand and it zaps them with electricity. Bzzz. Yeah, you open up the comic book, you could buy these things. And one of the things you could buy was a little box. And what you do is you take a blank piece of paper, about this big, a blank piece of paper, and you put it in the box, and you crank it. The paper cranks through. And on the other end, out comes a $1 bill. This machine that they sold in a comic book for $2 could take a plain piece of paper and turn it into actual and real money. Now, of course, little Chris was super excited about this machine, and I could not understand why everyone did not have at least one of these. I spent my $2. I paid $2. 4 to 6 weeks later, in the mail comes my little machine. I'm excited. I'm excited. You want to know why I'm excited? Right. Because I had to go to school. My mom told me I had to go to school. Why do I have to go to school? Because I have to get an education. Why do I have to get an education? So I can get a good job. Why do I need a good job? So I can make money. But now, I have a machine that can turn blank paper into money. Why do I have to go to school? I can just stay in bed. I can just watch cartoons. I can sit in my bed with my machine and a whole bunch of blank paper. As I'm sure you know, the machine doesn't work. At least, it didn't work the way I thought it worked. It was a magic trick. It's a magic trick. First, you have to put a real dollar bill in the machine, and then you put in the blank paper, and then you crank, and it doesn't turn the blank paper into the money. I'm not saying this was the best thing I ever got in the mail, but it is one of the most interesting things I've ever gotten in the mail. How about you? What's the most interesting thing that you have ever gotten from the mail? I want to know. I want to know. Write it right there. You guys who are watching this live, you can write it right there. I'll read it right here for everybody in the world. Or you can send me an email, chris@ChrisinEnglish.com, or you can wait till this is posted on Instagram and Facebook and YouTube, and you can comment there, as long as you comment, because I want to know. What is the strangest, most interesting thing that you have ever received in the mail? Hey, wow, we went a little bit late today. We've gone a little bit long, but that's okay, because I love hanging out with you guys. I do got to go now. Got other stuff to do. I've got a Tuesday to go out and conquer. I hope you conquer your Tuesday as well. Until then, please remember, my name is Chris. I love you all. Go away.